Alright, so for homework, I asked you to tell me the type of bond. So, what would you tell me about NaCl? How did you know it was ionic?
It's a combination.
Alright. It's too thick. Alright. Alright, it was a metal and a non-metal, so that's how you know it was ionic. Alright, what do you know about PCl5? Alright, it was a non-metal and a non-metal, so it was covalent. Everybody remember how to do that now? Alright, so what can you tell me about CaI2? Alright, what can you tell me about HF? What can you tell me about CH4? What can you tell me about Cl2? And Mn. Now, we're going to use this same list when we get down here to number 5. Whether it's today or tomorrow, we're going to use this same list of elements. I know one of these is wrong. I think 2 of them are wrong. Okay? And we're going to talk about how we figure out which ones are wrong using the second method that we're going to learn later today. Okay? Now, I told you today it was fine. I hope yours was. Miss Xavier is testing. No, I got to be missing somebody else. Count 17. That are miscounted, which is very possible. Nope, just Xavier. Good. We have an even number. All right. So, I told you Friday that we're going to do a periodic table puzzle. All right. The puzzle is going to use fake elements. Those fake elements, though, fit the trends that you've been learning. So if the element says that it's a gas in its normal state, it's still a gas on this puzzle. So where are places on the periodic table that are gases? Okay, it has to be a non-metal, such as weight. Okay, the noble gases. Where else? Where else besides noble gases? Y'all got the hydrogen or? Those are noble gases. N-O, F and CF. Okay, those are the places that it has to be a gas. Okay? If it says something like 2S, 2P3, all right, you know that 2P3 has to be 2P1, 2P2, 2P3. It still reads the same way this periodic table reads. The D block is left out, and it will only be the top 4 periods. Okay? Now, you're going to be allowed to have a periodic table per partner. I would recommend, because some of them are going to refer to numbers by atomic number, by protons, by neutrons, refer to things by atomic masses. Okay, so you might want an order. Now, whether you choose to pick one of the other 2 colored ones, I would not choose until you and your partner are together, so that you can decide whether you and your partner are weaker on the SPDF and reading the configurations, because there are 1 or 2 of those, or whether you're weaker on solid, liquid, gas, perhaps metal, non-metal, names of the groups, things of that nature. It really doesn't matter to me which one you pick. I have no dog in this fight. But you choose, okay? You get 45 minutes maximum to do the puzzle. Most people do not need 45 minutes to do the puzzle. Each block is worth 3 points. If you miss 1, you're going to miss 2. Beyond that, you might only miss 3 or 4. You are guaranteed to miss 2, but beyond that, it's a crapshoot. Okay? Lots of people every year make hundreds on this. Hopefully, we'll have lots of hundreds in this class. Okay?
It's just the first 3.
You done already? Why are you here? What do you want today? Why are you here? We're taking a test.
Yeah, they gave us a break.
Okay.
I need some Carmex.
We only talk about Carmex.
I can't tell from my
Don't give us no Carmex. I got hers.
Perhaps it's because you came disrupting my class for CarMax.
Yeah.
She ain't gotta talk, John.
Because
You guys
that's
don't
your
get
name.
CarMax. There's nobody up there testing who has CarMax.
Are they all white? They all
I make some no lips they weren't.
Yeah.
Now, apparently they're just as prepared as y'all.
Don't come on.
Go. Do not mess with her and go. Leave her be. Stop egging him on. Now, are there any questions about trends before we start? Alright.
Thank you. Y'all.
There are 18 people, so nobody gets to work by themselves.
And it went everywhere, and now my blue bag is red.
Alright?
Stuff is red.
If you're one of the early finishers, I have a practice sheet to review for your quiz. I didn't say it was optional.
But we got a quiz
What I say y'all?
tomorrow.
Today.
It's not on there. It says quiz. That ain't the same thing.
Oh, what? Alright, this one is for Mario.
The
This one
quiz
is
is
for.
on.
Okay.
About the increase in the.
This is a big old
I keep.
No, pass it extra.
Oh, nothing.
Did you give one to Ashanta or did you not keep my job?
Come up, Carl, wait a minute.
Alright, now let me explain how this works so everybody knows what they're doing. Alright, so the first part up here at the top just basically tells you what I already did. That it doesn't include the transitions, all the elements are their basic elements, they're in their natural state, yada yada yada. See where I'm pointing here with my fingers, it says BFT, DG, LZ, those letters. Alright, those are the fake elements we're putting in the boxes on the backside. Okay? So, how many letters are B, F, and T?
3.
3. Those elements have to stay together in the same group. Okay? So if you flip over to the back, B, F, T are 3 letters that have to stay in the same group. How many groups have only 3 boxes? Group 2 through.
17.
So BFT cannot go in groups what and what?
1 and 18.
Very good. Okay. So DGLZ has how many letters?
4.
So it can only go in groups what?
1 and 18.
Everybody with me on that?
Yeah.
Now, that does not mean that DGLZ goes in the group as DGLZ. Okay? That just means they're in the group.
So they scramble.
That's right. So, if we read one of the clues, okay? Since G is the first clue in there, it says G is an old gas. So that means DGLZ belong to what group?
18.
So if it was me, I'd take pencil first of all instead of ink, but you can do it any way you want. I'd write DGLZ under group 18 because now I know that DG, L, and Z, all those letters are going in which column? 18. Now, I don't know in what order. I just know that all those letters go in group 18. Generally speaking, the top section here, you see how there's that open space? The top clues generally help you figure out which group they go in, and the bottom set of clues generally help you figure out where in the group the letters go. Now, there are 1 or 2 letters that are not represented there because you use the process of elimination to figure out where the letters go. So if you're one of those who hunts for all the letters that go as well, that letter doesn't have a clue. Yes, I'm aware. It's because you're using the process of elimination to figure out where the letter goes. Okay? But if you go one by one through the clues, you should be able to figure out where all those clues go with letters and put the letters in the right spots. Any questions?
No.
You can do it any way you want. You can hunt for the letters to put them in. You can go one by one. I don't care. Now, spread yourselves out. No 2 people can work together. No 2 groups at a counter. Talk quietly. If you aid another group, both groups go to what?
No 2 people can work together.
No 2 groups can work together. So if you're there, sorry, no 2 groups. So if you're there, the Samaria's group needs to be faced this way. Okay?
Get on the ground.
And Baby is very nice. I know he's a senior. He doesn't talk to a lot of people, but he's very nice. Somebody can work with it. Now, groups of two. Karen, who you working with? No, David. He's a very nice person. He's a senior. He's got brain cells, even though he chooses not to talk to you about it. Go work at Stephanie, you and Jonathan work at that back table. Karen, you and Baby work pull 2 chairs over here. That's fine, we'll work at the computer at the counter there. That'll be fine too.
So G.
Don't worry about it. You got bigger things to worry about at the moment.
Like she says, right at the column, rather than running in the columns.
You could go right here. Since it's a 4-letter,
Hey, are you?
right?
No back out. We're going to
Can
use this
I
one.
just say one more thing?
No.
Please, I'll go back to homework. They said that it was being
So we already know it's not fine. It's gonna be in the column, but I don't know if we'll do it.
Okay, you go next.
Wait, so like, 4-letter, right? Doesn't it have to all be like right there? Like,
Yeah,
not
it's
ordered?
not exactly like the same like this, but like the last strike, these 4 letters at the bottom, because we don't know exactly where it's in place.
Okay, so he has problems.
I don't see Oh, there you go. So 5,
I did the.
there you go. So that's gonna be 15. See the approach, so that's
That's why we're.
Okay, so I have a question. So, once we figure out, like, for example, if it says F has the smallest atomic mass, and it W is the smallest atomic mass. Okay, so do we put the element name, or do we put the
You put the
F?
F, or where you make the false atomic mass.
so T, that would be 15.
What's this?
T.
Yes, so it's gotta be.
So which one of her?
It's a Howard.
It's gonna be the smallest.
M has
He has a
So- So we have all of them. Okay.
Adding small space for that. So now it just scaled for small.
It's what? No, we have an entire column.
Yeah.
So,
So the lowest memorization. So he.
so use gas or orange.
No, he did. But he has to be in the column. So where you the lowest.
Gas room temperature, I'd say that's the top.
We did.
Hi, we got one.
Actually, don't get the top push. Yeah.
IPH. Yeah, it looks like it's scribbled together.
So I.
Yes.
Smallest time.
I don't even know if we have two.
So that's that here.
Yeah.
Okay. P is lowest ionization energy. P.
Atoms of P contain 10 protons. Yes, it's 18. And they're down.
Oh, that's a pro.
And what is that?
So P would still be at the top. Atoms of Z.
So,
The radius is small.
so this atoms of D contain 20 protons. Let's see what it is.
B is more than M, it's less than A, so it has to be. Atomic radius, atomic large going down.
S, C, D.
Oh, so those items.
This
So they just
That's
use
atomic
it.
mass, not
H is the slowest.
Think about it at the top.
So all the radius
Top
of
one.
C
J is lower item.
So there's two neutrons. Neutron's the one. Is neutron the one that you have to subtract it into the number? So I don't think so. No, it's not.
smallest.
So then you have to go at the top. Or
So it's gonna be that way.
why is
No, it's the smallest, or wait, it's down, it's down. So it's gonna be the second one. H is gonna go here. There's not even the same.
yeah.
It's covered. Atomic mass of J is what is that? J has a much smaller.
The electron gravity.
Why does that say?
Has a thousand.
That's a phone. Man, I was sitting more
That's
than.
what it
Less than that, J. Okay.
Z is gonna go right here in the third block. Working on the
She has the lowest one.
R is gonna go first.
How can
The last in that was the first. I do put the this is 102.
Well, that's just answer. So, answer for atomic mass of B, because that would make it in the middle.
No.
So, more than M, so
This has the exact measurement. That's two of them. That's
One child thing, either.
way over. That's way above. Because you have
There's
this
more
car.
organization.
Yeah. We're skipping. You have to walk.
Just doing nothing else.
So it's a little. So it's, there's two of the choices. And it hit this was 17.
And then
So what was the first one? This was one and it was
These higher.
and what was the last one? Yeah. Oh, okay, I got you. So where Q is the gap. You don't have enough information to say Q. Yes, so what? Sorry, yeah, because why is it over the L?
Oh,
Why is it wrong? It's going greater than that. C.
J.
Yeah.
oh, it's for. This said J has a lower ionization energy than B, but is a higher RT energy than K.
Number of cars.
Hey, this is fun.
Z.
Because what is how it does? Yeah.
Jay's over here.
Okay, so we have done
It's
that.
not us, it's here, and
Based on
Jay.
that column. I feel like that doesn't make sense. Adams looks like we have two more. The top. So,
Okay, comment miss.
okay, so one. That one not located. It's one greater.
I finished my outline. He says.
But are they?
So B would be that.
Unless we did it wrong.
They reactivity, like group one's most reactive, two's next reactive. E is the third most reactive.
X has.
C is the fourth most
What less? So this is 6.
Again, focus on ionization.
Yeah, but C is not all.
What did T do again, if it's the only gas in the
Which one?
That's
got
piece again.
Yeah, we're.
So if it's the only correct gas, then that's
Oh, we did that. I think he did that honestly.
I'm still trying to think of this because we replaced this wrong, which is this too. So the student effort right here, it says R is 1 greater than 2. So I put R there, K there, which makes no sense. because
Atomic, but the atomic mass of it is. So anything.
It would have to be 12 for the first one.
Adam's doesn't give out
are there, be there. So we just have to deal with these two columns. Why is the weather at room temperature where there's Q the gas?
It's either 3 or 11.
That's in ceiling, place the gas.
So that's where.
Two gases. So why was it at the bottom? Q would be a gas. It doesn't mention.
Oh, the atomic
No, where are we there?
right there.
So without so they'll put either Q at the middle of the top.
My Adam's this one. Says Adam's and K and
One last. So Q would be. So Q.
But it says. It would have to go to the.
T is on top would be.
Because it's less than.
E is
So
J
J
is
is
S.
then it would be B, then it would be. B has to be less than K before the G, and B has to be. Rather than have to do it You tell me the number X of G.
Aaron, what you going to get? I said no notes, I meant no notes.
What?
Justin, what you doing back there? You with your notes? No, I can't use your notes. That's why I said, you figure out exactly.
Oh, yeah, it's my.
Good, pull it out of your notebook, pull it out.
This could be X.
Yeah, you get, figure out.
Why is it?
K is larger than J.
Yeah.
Well, hold on. So, have K larger than you, use at the bottom. But that,
But you. This has to be.
Wait, oh,
Because they have to be side by side to be one. The question says, X is in post there is less, one less than that of G. So this is gonna be one less than G. So this is have to. Unless we're wrong about the Z.
Wait, wouldn't G be right here? Because X as an atomic number, that is one less than that.
Adam's and K are larger
So
than
am I right here?
so
And there's
I had her break it first.
I want to like read you the whole thing. I want to read you the
Okay, let's just go back and read the answer.
Okay, G is a local gas. So how would I still see?
See one. Atoms K are larger than that.
Says X is larger than one less than G. What in diesel switch or something?
No.
Yeah. Yeah, it's right there.
It's on my desk.
And Y already right here.
So there's the answer key, so y'all can check when y'all are. Does it say number 3 at the top? Sophie, does it say 3 at the top?
Yes.
Okay. The answers are up there beside Baden, so you can check when you're done.
Oh,
That's for the review sheet.
I thought it was for this. Wait, that's the review sheet?
Yeah, you gotta give me that first though.
Oh.
That's right, because atomic radius is. So greater would be lower. So S is greater than C. Doesn't say anything about M.
Yes.
Yeah, I know you didn't ask.
It's okay, I didn't give her an answer.
She don't know.
Man, hey, where does hair come from? Over there, I'm losing your bag.
But wouldn't it get smaller if it goes down? Or is that
I can't remember if it was smaller that way, greater down, or greater that way, smaller that way.
Okay,
There are two of them.
Where are you at?
you can use our notes on quiz.
I'm just gonna make it.
Does it say anything about
Did you drink K twice?
No, that's an R.
But I keep on looking at the large order. Atoms K are larger than Q. that flip those two.
So we are this one.
I probably measure.
This also includes the yellow one. It would be like this, will it?
I'm ready to figure it down.
Or would it be? It's gotta go right here. This is gotta be shaded in. It's gotta be. Because yes, it would have to be two, which would only give you the school. So this is gonna be.
No. Yeah.
See, you have it wrong.
Yeah.
That's what it is. Okay, let's just keep going with this. So, we're gonna skip the gas. Everything on the gas is good.
Where are the answers?
It's gonna go first.
Come here, bye, baby.
Oh, okay.
So we got it. Well. He has the lowest. Lowest and small. So he is. It's gonna go right. He's right in the last. So see, so far we're good. I'm just gonna skip that one.
She does say something about that.
I'll figure it out, whatever, but I'll give it.
Oh, okay, yeah, it is. Yes.
Electricity, therefore. So what's that sheet?
Right there on the, for that one.
Are you sure?
Okay, I have a question.
Yep.
Do these boxes, like the elements of these boxes, exactly match up with these?
In terms of their properties, yes.
So like the third one on here would be whatever element that they're talking about on the third one on here.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, but that's if they're
This is one.
Oh, no.
The activity.
That's right, yeah. Why is it like that? Why is doing it after use right there? Got it. Yeah. Oh, yes. It doesn't say, it doesn't matter, but it says, why is a liquid at room temperature accused gas? L is gas is acute. So if you really accused gas, it is.
Unless.
Well, yeah, that's fine.
You go right here, it goes right here in our code. The K would still be bigger than here.
I want you to.
Yes. R has to be 1.2.
One time.
R has to be 1.2.
I'm getting it. I'm getting it.
Yeah.
So gas at room temperature. That's the G. Because G is gas at room temperature. So with the gas, no, guys, for sure.
What'd you do? What did you do?
Where's you? It's really great. It's a good So wait,
Iron is in the lower. Iron is smaller this way. But I'm not higher than that. The J has a higher one than the one, but lower than.
oh, R is, you told them that R is greater than
R is
what's greater than C. So R has got to be greater than C. So R
Bigger to pay this way. That's got to be smaller than B. J is smaller than B. So that means J is smaller.
so who is the gas temperature? What is B?
And in
W here. Yep. be gas.
The common now would be.
Okay. So let's go for it.
What? It just don't make sense. It's a bit serious. J has a lower ionization energy than his atom, but a higher ionization energy. That was this K. But.
No.
Oh, no, I'm telling you.
So instead of add to K or
So
R
if
to
you
the
go
rest of
on the left side, the more this is the one that's the most the more you go up. Yeah, that's right. But more than in.
the K be greater than R.
But it says less than. So J would have to be.
It's one moment of it.
So basically it's saying.
This is gonna be L.
Yeah.
H is at least its power. If you would do it there,
That's how the smallest. Use one of metal is more reactive than reduced. Non-metals are more reactive than everything else I read / solid, everything else I read. Yeah.
That's the thing.
So A has to be on top. What's the question? A is the most intelligent.
No,
I
it
know,
was.
but it's the economy.
Well, 1 to 3.
And they go, they're more reactive. No, more reactive. No, it's relative to reactivity.
For the health.
It's asking the reactivity of the other. It's not asking that it is a metal.
Thanks, ma'am.
I said that sort of.
No, it's just know that in the open, it said. I'm metallic. For bond. Yes, but the question is asking. How metallic? And she says in the open, that's the question, it's asking her activity.
It's definitely one.
Yeah, please.
Atomic radius is here, actually go down and so that S is right. M has to be right. M has a valence electron of 4s2 4 people. 4 people. X is an atomic number of 1 less 2. I think well, that's what wait, sounds great.
Let's see if I got mine right.
No, first Stephen.
Right. Yep. My two groups are still working. How we coming?
Oh, okay. I was gonna make sure. I thought they were.
Which trade are we doing? Okay. I understand you get the figures you go across, right? Yeah. So this will be great. I'll just read small.
We're taking pictures. No, that's the largest. Go out to eat, after that, let's see what's down the green, after that, let's see what's down the top of the green.
Come on, you and
Yes, this,
done, just sitting there.
this one is taking a lot of thinking.
Try that on somebody else.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
No, just sitting there socializing.
No, we're not. No, we're not.
No, we're not.
We're really
So
confused
all the way
about
up to the right.
these two, because it's so.
Make a decision. A challenge, how about y'all?
We're done.
All right, right here. How about freedom or justice and Abraham?
Yeah.
One left, all right.
Freedom, pride, justice.
Oh, I
Yes.
So I'd say, okay, if it's not divorce,
That's all it
where is 80? Because it-
I don't know the time. I said no.
minus 1. So it's
Put on my
not.
phone.
Oh, it's right here. Here's the time.
See how it does.
I always circle the ones that get. I just.
Hey, look at water.
Me, you too, girl.
Hey, look at water. Yeah.
Oh, no, I want to be that night. Hang on, I'll be with y'all boys. Allison on YouTube.
I was watching my nephew.
Same person she always saw me. Hey.
That's a non-metal.
I'm going to Walmart. Right, and she said, I'm not gonna be sorry. So I'm gonna go to Walmart.
What would be one typically, but
I was like, and I am blocked.
The exception.
Yeah, listen, call me. Listen about.
I wouldn't be that cruel to you.
Sorry, it's because of the exceptions, remember? Deaths are always the exception.
There's always gonna be less deaths, but I wouldn't be that cruel to y'all, please.
Really last week.
But it's like the gas.
We was there.
So,
Probably.
so it has to be all the way down.
Cause my schedule, my phone schedule. Yeah.
Okay.
Right, right. Right. Okay, so pictures, we're doing early December. Cause I mean, we might go to different places, I don't know.
Go.
What was that?
We'll probably go up to Mount Clay. Yeah, and then 4:30.
You're right. No, because if you do it this way, it gets smaller.
But that's going from 4:30 to 5. We can't go
We should go to that.
We want to try
Boy, that place so.
Chicken balls.
Oh, your boy.
Either it's a negative or positive ion, probably the opposite.
Say what now?
You're thinking of the negative ion.
Uh-huh.
Are they the opposite?
Negative ions have gained electrons because they're bigger.
Okay.
So these have.
Yeah, we probably. We're probably gonna be there. That's gonna take. So I probably should make that to like close to 6 or so, so then we're gonna be eating like 6. It's us three, Karen, George, and yours.
You just eat good. You go all up though.
He said he can't fresh.
As long as I get this.
Yeah, we can do that. I'm gonna.
I'm saying all of the other chart I
I think it's got a hot plate. Y'all want to go to Gianna? Where's that? Hot
The one about the.
You're not meant to. Yeah, I understand.
This one was our game on periodic.
38 is. Well, there's something I can put more.
Like what?
I don't know.
Spill?
Yeah.
Liquid?
I probably should.
It's not a lot. It's what?
It's not a lot.
You were going to take that. You knew you would.
You probably got it.
Yeah, go ahead.
Jay.
I didn't do it. I just saw it. Thank you for being kind.
All right, you two in the back, where we at?
Oh, we're done.
Well, bring me those stupid things. I'm waiting on y'all.
Mr. Wall, you over there mad for Tom December.
You got the lady.
I'm ready to move on, and I'm waiting on you two.
Down on my head
Daisy.
All right, do I have everybody's lab paper?
and my head big.
So this is a non-metal. This is
I don't wanna get
My
my.
handwriting so bad I thought it was Jaden's. All right, so I know, it looked like a J, I thought it was Jaden's, but it's Justice's got off handwriting. All right, so we look at the answers to what y'all are working on, because I know some of you are still working on it. All right, if we look at, well, let me get one since Tiffany's checking her paper. Which metal was most reactive in number 1?
Please.
Oh, least reactive. Sorry, I read most. Least reactive. Aluminum. Okay. We didn't pick oxygen because it's a non-metal. And then BA and MG are both in group 2. All right. So aluminum. Number 2. Which non-metal is again least reactive? B. Sulfur. Okay. So fluorine is in group 17. So you've got O and S. Both of them are in group 16. And so least reactive is farther down, so that's why it's sulfur. All right, are we okay on group or question 1 and 2? All right, number 3. Which element has the smallest ionization energy? Cesium. It gets greater as you go across, so argon will be the biggest. Sorry, krypton will be the biggest. So cesium is going to be the smallest. 4. The atom that is the smallest will be the one that has the +1, because that means you lost electrons, so +1. Which element has the largest radius? Largest radius will be Ra? Okay. Because as you go down, they get bigger. I was going to say, I'm doing these off the top of my head, so tell me if I'm wrong.
How many questions is on the quiz?
10.
Is it a paper quiz?
It's a lot like these, except
Why did you write quiz trends?
because these are trends. Choosing the trends, just like what you're doing right here. All right. I could have written it trends quiz.
I didn't know it was a quiz.
Yeah, it's a quiz. All right. Except instead of putting A, B, C, or D, I just gave you 4 choices. All right. In number 6, which element has the largest ionization energy out of those choices? Br is correct. Which element has the highest melting point? Au, because it's in what block? The D block. Which element has the smallest density? The answer is D, because it's a gas. It's a trick question. I would not be tricky like that on the quiz. Typically, most of you probably look for a group 1 element, which would be CS. Okay, CS would have been the answer, but I gave you a gas. All gases have lower densities than metals, which is why it's oxygen. Number 9, which element has the smallest density? It should be what? Where am I at? Sorry, I'm looking at the wrong question. Number 9, which has the smallest atomic radius? All right, so radius gets smallest as you go across, right? All right, so who's farther across? Looks like S if I'm looking at it right. Yes? Sulfur? Is that what y'all got? Okay. Who has 5 electrons in the outer shell? Nitrogen. Who would form a -2 ion? Oxygen. B has a typo. That should be a capital B. And which element will not gain or lose electrons? Who? Argon. A. Everybody okay with those? All right. In that case, let us have something to write with. And can you do it with your orange periodic table, or do you need one you can write on?
No, I can use it for mine.
All right, let's do it with your orange periodic table then. Yes.
What was the thing that stopped the lower gases?
Electronegativity did not use the noble gases.
What was the
That's like all, is it all of them? So it counts for all of them?
Just the top 3.
And so ionized
ionization energy has exceptions.
Yeah.
Ionization energy has all the exceptions. It goes all the way across.
But it has like 3 exceptions.
No,
No,
fine.
that's only electronegativity. Ionization energy uses all the noble gases. The only thing that has those top 3 exceptions are electronegativity. Otherwise, it uses all the elements on the periodic table.
What did you say stop?
The ones that stop is electronegativity. It doesn't include those top 3 elements, but it's only electronegativity. Okay? All right, everybody got it? All right, everybody got a periodic table? Darlene? Huh? Oh, yeah. Come get one. I forget you brick all over everything you want. All right, we grab the quiz.
Mario, Karen, Marissa, y'all go vote in a group chat. I need a phone. Vote.
All right.
How many times we don't go where I'm always but I'm just gonna let people think they have them. I mean, Jordan got to go around.
Hey,
Right, I told Joyce, I was like, we don't end up going anywhere. Well, they don't go for it.
No, they can, but they won't.
And I mean, why? What authority do they have? Not driving. They don't drive, so.
They always drive.
I think I'm gonna, she's not driving.
She's not driving
there's one for Caden and Amari.
Who's all driving? You, I think I am. Is Kieran?
I think I got enough out.
Thank you.
Who all riding? Joyce.
Yeah.
Jordan, I know Jordan riding here.
Clearly, I didn't grab enough. Hold on. Thought I grabbed plenty.
She is following one.
All right. Y'all hush.
That's what the school is.
All right, y'all can see when you get this, they're like multiple choice, except I didn't include A's, B's, and C's. So just write the symbol on the line. Okay? So when you read number 1, you can see there are 4 choices. Just write the answer on the line. Everybody got it?
Yeah, sure.
Who's still working at this point? Anybody? Got about 3? Anybody still working now? We've all finished? All right, pass papers to the front. And all of these will be in Power School sometime during the third period. All right, find your notes. We've got about 12, 13 minutes. Let's move on with what we were working on Friday. Go ahead.
Do we have any homework?
No, I don't know if we'll actually get to it. I'll give it to you. All right. I doubt we'll actually get to it. So, as one of your classmates, if we got this far. But I doubt we will, so hang on to it if we don't. All right. All right, so I told you when we went over the homework, that there were a couple answers that were wrong, okay? So we're going to talk about a different way to find bond type. So a more definite way to determine bond type is to use electronegativity. Oh, Karen, I'm guessing this is probably yours. Okay. Not that it couldn't have been made, but he doesn't strike me as the type to use a white one pen. All right. So a more definite way to determine electronegativity or bond type is to use an electronegativity scale. Now, I'm going to give you an electronegativity chart because we're going to use it in this unit. All right, Darlene, I want you to roll back and I'll take notes all of this chart, okay? Should be an extra for Smari in your row. One for Jake and then yours for a second. All right, one for Karen. All right, so this chart I'm handing you is a table of electronegativities that we're going to use. All right, did I get one for everybody? Yes? No? Okay, so we're going to use this scale. Now, from 4.0 to 1.7 means your ionic bond. From 1.7 to 0.3 means you're a polar covalent bond. And from 0.3 to 0 means you're a non-polar covalent bond. Now, what type of bond is not up there at all? Metallic. All right, we cannot use the electronegativity scale to find a metallic bond. Okay, we cannot use it at all. And we'll talk more about that tomorrow as we keep working with this. But a metallic bond does not use the electronegativity table. Now, how do we use this scale? First of all, we do not draw it on that table if we want to be able to use it on a quiz or a test. Okay, because if you do, I'm not going to let you use the table. Now, to determine bond type, we subtract the electronegativity of each atom, and it will be the positive difference. That's all we do. We subtract the electronegativity of each atom, and it will be the positive difference. We're struggling with the intercom system. Okay, we subtract the electronegativity difference, or the electronegativity of each atom, and it will be the positive difference. Now, we don't even worry about the numbers. So, if we have a compound such as, okay, NaF. NaF is an easy one. So, if we look up Na on the chart that I just handed you, you missed the lab and a quiz, my dear.
Huh?
Said you missed the lab and a quiz.
All right.
Okay. If you look up Na on the chart that I just handed you, Na has an electronegativity. What?
What they just got back to school.
I'll be here for a little bit today. I'll be here tomorrow for 4:30, and I'll be here Wednesday at 4:30. All right. If you look up Na, it has a number of 0.9, and F has a number of 4.0. So you would just subtract and you would write 4 minus 0.9 and you would get 3.3. So it would fall where on the scale? Yeah, it's a number line, right? So 3.3, well, probably closer up here. So it would be ionic. Now, that was a nice easy one because it had no numbers in it, right?
How did you get 3.3?
3.1. Clearly, Miss Walls had a rough weekend. Okay? 3.1. All right. Suppose I have one that has some numbers in it. Like, let's say this time I have CO2. Okay? Do I use the numbers?
No.
Nope. I still look up C. C has what number on the chart? 2.5 minus, what's oxygen? 3.5, and this time I intentionally wrote the numbers backwards so that it would turn out to be what kind of number? Now, it's an absolute value. So this time we get a number of 1. Okay? Doesn't matter if it's positive or negative. We just want the positive difference. So put it in absolute values in your head. You don't actually have to draw the absolute values. So you get a difference of 1. Where does 1 fall on that number line up there? Polar covalent. So this one is polar covalent. Okay? Polar covalent. Questions about what that chart means to do to find the bond type?
Go ahead and give us the hard stuff.
It's not hard. That's all you do.
There's a catch.
Right, there's okay.
Well, we got to rank some things in a little while, but that's all there is to subtracting.
Okay, what's the twist on it?
There isn't a twist. You subtract and figure out where it falls.
We gonna see.
Okay. So, what does it mean to be polar covalent, non-polar covalent? And it does not have anything to do with polar bears being cold.
Really?
Really. Just in case, you know, we have a quiz and I ask you that, don't write down anything stupid like that. All right? Polar covalent means it's a bond where electrons are not shared equally. Okay? The electrons are not shared equally. So, the example that I wrote down was one we talked about last week. Do you remember when we talked about HCl? Some of y'all do. And it was like the tug of war between the electrons or H and Cl of the same strength. No. Okay. Okay. Do you remember where H was on the periodic table? Yes, in group 1. So how many electrons does it have in its outer shell? Okay. How many does chlorine have in its outer shell? So, what's group 1 going to want to do with its electron? Okay, it's going to want to lose. And what's group 17 going to want to do with its? Gain. So who's controlling those electrons? That's right. So that's what it means to be a polar covalent bond. They're not shared equally. Chlorine is stronger. Okay? So if we had a tug of war game going on, would those electrons be pulled on equally between the H and the Cl? No. Okay? Now, non-polar means the electrons are what? Shared equally. So chlorine has 7 electrons, and this chlorine has 7 electrons. This is sort of like, oh, we got cloned. This chlorine is pulling, and this chlorine is pulling. Are either chlorine stronger than the other chlorine?
No.
No. Picture. Andy's having a tug of war with himself. Andy 1 is tugging versus Andy 2. Would Andy 1 be stronger than Andy 2? Theoretically, no. Okay? Now, cloning is not legal in the United States. We could all discuss whether it's ethically or morally reasonable.
If you could make another one yourself.
I know. Imagine that.
What if like you think it could be legal if you could carry yourself like?
I know. Can't imagine that.
you
Anyhow,
carry your own-
but we're not going there today. My point is, the electrons are being shared equally. That's what it means to be nonpolar. Okay? Now, for homework tonight. You remember our homework we did last night, or we were supposed to do with those bonds? Okay? Now I want you to go back through them. And I want you to do it with the electronegativity chart. And I want you to find the bond type. Okay? So one of you who has Sophie's number, let her know to take that same homework and use the electronegativity chart if she watches 10 minutes of YouTube. She'll be able to do it. Okay? That's your homework. Yeah, we only started at, what, 11:27? We did the lab and the quiz before that. And an opening.
What's the last?